So my name is Ryan Kojaste, and I'm running for Congress here in California's 12th District. I am a second-year law student at UC Hastings. I am the youngest appointed Immigrant Rights Commissioner for the City and County of San Francisco, and I am just a regular person that faces regular issues, and a lot of our issues aren't being addressed on the federal level. So I know a lot of people are curious as to why we decided to join this race against arguably the most powerful Democrat in our country, House Minority Leader Pelosi. And the reason is that we believe it's time for our country to change, that there is this growing disconnect between so many of our representatives and the people that they serve, that they've been around for quite a number of years, that they've become more established, that they don't come back to their districts as often, that they're getting corporate donations, that how can they understand the struggles that we're facing every day? You know, I'm the son of immigrants, the proud son of immigrants who fled Iran during the revolution to come to this country. And they were able to achieve the American dream by planting roots here and having my sister and I born. But it wasn't easy, especially after a post 9/11 world, being that Middle Eastern kid going through elementary school. Being faced with the rhetoric that I was less than, that I wasn't as patriotic, that I could never one day try and make a difference. And that changed when I saw President Obama, then state senator, give that speech at the DNC in 2004. I'm a skinny kid with a funny name, and this country has a place for me too. That changed my life. And when I was a kid too, most of my family, they're in Iran. I didn't have the luxury of being able to grow up with so many of my family members because they weren't lucky like my parents to be able to come here. And when I was 3 years old, we were in an airplane on our way back to California, and I was just in tears because I didn't want to leave. And when we got back home, I remember going around our house, this little crazy 3-year-old kid looking for pillows. And I asked my mom, how many pillows do we have in our house? And she said, we have 7 or 8 pillows. And I asked her, can we go buy some more? She looks at me and says, why? And I look up to her with my big brown eyes and I say that I want to make sure when our family comes over tonight, they have a place to sleep. And imagine being that mom trying to explain to a 3-year-old what failed foreign policy was, or failed immigration policy, or borders, or that unlike your neighbors and your classmates, you couldn't grow up with your aunts and your uncles or be part of your cousins' lives. Now they're all getting married and they're having kids and I'm here and I can't see them. It has been 13 years since I've seen my family, and it hurts. And now with this travel ban, I've had family waiting 10 years for a visa, they're back at square one. So this administration has affected me greatly. And with healthcare costs have gone up. My copay in the last year went up over 3 times. So when I had the flu last month, I couldn't go to the doctor because it's expensive. Especially being a student, trying to make my own way in this country with student loans. It's gonna take me 40 years to pay off. It's gonna be a burden for the rest of my life. I could only afford to live in San Francisco because I was able to take out student loans to pay for my subsidized student apartment at my school. I will have $150,000 by the time I graduate. That's not the American dream. We need to fight for students. So we're here in this reality where we have a Republican-controlled White House, Senate, and House. And we need to reflect and think about how we got there. What really happened was the Democratic Party failed us. They weren't able to inspire, empower, relate to, and get out the vote. And now when the leaders are asked, do you think the party needs a new direction? They say no. Well, our generation, as a Parkland student who survived the shooting Senate, our generation won't stand for this. We need to stand up and we need to run. We can protest as much as we want, we can march as much as we want, we can post on social media as much as we want, but we also need to get involved, be civically engaged, and run with each other. Because one person can't do anything, but all of us together, if we believe in a shared message, we can make a big difference. If we get second place in this primary, we will become the youngest campaign in American history to ever challenge a sitting member of Congress. And we hope that this message will be resounding throughout our country, that other people, regular, everyday people, can believe they can have a place in our country too. Because we're inheriting a mess. That our generation and all of us are going to have to figure out how we're going to fix it. But none of us have that ability to make that difference, to have our voice heard. So we got to change that. Why should we wait for the powers that be to vet us when we're all capable in this room? Why should we wait for someone to say it's your turn when it's our turn now? So what we stand for is passing single-payer health care. Because I don't want any of my neighbors or my brothers or my sisters to become homeless or to go bankrupt because they have to fight a disease they never wanted in the first place. We need comprehensive immigration reform that grants pathways to citizenship for all 11 million of our undocumented brothers and sisters that live here. Because they promote this country. They are this country. They're as American as any one of us. They help our economy. They work hard. They deserve dignity to be able to continue living here and reunify their families. We need student loan reform so that we don't have to be burdened for the rest of our lives. And we need free 2-year and 4-year higher education in our country. And we can do that. Just this past year, the Democrats, led by the leader, passed a National Defense Reauthorization Act of 2017, which raised our military budget $80 billion to $700 billion, the height of the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan. When at the same time, we could have enacted free 2-year and 4-year higher education for all families making under $150,000 a year for $47 billion. When they say, where's the money? We had the money, and we didn't do it. But the key to unlocking a budget that reflects the interests of the American people and not the special interests is campaign finance reform. We got to make sure we don't have politicians that are getting their pockets lined with corporate donations so that they can continue to be in their seats. We need people to be grassroots, to not accept corporate donations or PAC money like our campaign. So when we say something, we mean it and we fight for it, and we don't stab you in the back. And in the 90s, a member of my family was gunned down in LA. Comprehensive gun reform is so important to me and my life because I've been affected by it. And time again, we see more school shootings. We see more murders. 93 people a day in this country die either by suicides or murders. When we had a majority in the House, in the Senate, and the White House, why didn't we pass comprehensive gun reform? Why wasn't that a priority? We gotta make that a priority so Parkland or Sandy Hook or Columbine never happens again. And that's what we stand for. Our website, we have 26 issues that we've laid out so that everyone can know what we stand for and what we want to do, and most importantly, how we can pay for that. Because we do have the money, but we have the people in charge of the money unwilling to move with the times. So if you're unwilling to move with the times, you got to get challenged. So if we get to the general, we're looking forward to a debate on the issues with Minority Leader Pelosi. Because it's time for the people of San Francisco to know that there is an option if you're willing to be able to progress our country.